Grandpappy, when I think of the controversies surrounding police in the current day, I think about, what was it like for great-granddaddy in his time as lieutenant? And I wonder, was there ever an incident when great-granddaddy used maybe excessive force or a police tactic that maybe today would not be necessarily smiled upon?
Well, the only incident I know of is incidents that I know of. One I witnessed myself, and the other he told me about. The one I witnessed myself was in Harlem. I was in elementary school, and the elementary school happened to be right across the street from where we live, PS5, and no longer exists. The west part of Harlem, on Edgecombe Avenue, and it was not a great neighborhood. I mean, it was not the horror that a lot of neighborhoods have become today, but it had its share of violence and all kinds of crazy behavior. And of course, in PS5, there was usually a fight at the end, after the end of the school day. I was witnessing a fight between two girls, and it was a horrifying thing to look at, because here were these two girls literally stripping each other down, ripping their dresses off, their skirts, scratching each other, and the crowd surrounding them was jumping up and down and screaming, enjoying it, the whole Colosseum embassy audience watching a Roman gladiators go at it. And then my father came home from work at about this time, and he got out of the car, ran right in the middle, and pulled them apart. By this time, the girls were half naked. The crowd was laughing and pointing and really getting their kicks. And another squad car came up, and two police officers, both white, rushed over to him, and they sort of calmed things down. They didn't completely calm things down, but they managed to cause the circle around them to widen, and people were starting to drift away. He, in the process of separating the two girls, had some damage done to the watch he had on his wrist, and he was showing it to the other two officers. There was one individual, hard-headed, who wanted to show off or whatever. He sneaked over, out of the crowd, and looked over my father's shoulder as he was talking to the other officers. My father turned to him and said, "Excuse me, this is police business. Could you please back away, back off?" And the guy backed away a couple of steps, and then came back again, looked over his shoulder. I said, "Gee, this guy is foolish." And I didn't know at that time how violent my father was. I had never seen it up to that point. And he came back again, and my father said, "Did you hear what I said?" I said, "Would you back up? This is police business." And the guy took a couple steps back, and then they came back again. Looked over my father's shoulder. My father turned, and bam! With a shot to the face. The crowd went berserk, and the two cops sort of spread away to calm the crowd down so that it didn't turn into anything. And I guess somebody pulled the guy away, and he turned and saw me sitting on the stoop watching him, and he said, "Go upstairs." So I turned and went into the house and went upstairs. That was the one I witnessed. Now the other, he told me about. he had pulled the gun on a wrongdoer who arrogantly said, I ain't afraid of no gun, I ain't afraid of no gun. No gun don't do nothing to me. And at that time, it was happening, but not the way it is today. The police were not shooting blacks left and right. But, and so my father said, oh, you're not. Huh? He turned the gun around and pistol whipped him. As far as the gun is concerned, I know he used the .38 because when I was a kid, I was on the potty chair. I think it was on the potty chair in the hall, and he let me hold the gun.
Oh my God!
He put this gun in my hand, and he said, "Don't pull the trigger."
Do you believe that there is any hope for healing the two communities? And if so, what would be your prescription?
I'm afraid there's no hope. I hate to say this, I'm sorry to say this, but what would have to be done is we'd have to get down into the subconscious, into the cultural subconscious of white America and black America, for that matter, that emphasizes the fact that we are human beings worthy of every right to exist that every other person has. And it is not there. It is the black man who gets shot in the back. It's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll get you all. We'll put you in we'll send you, we'll give you some desk duty for a while, then we'll get the jury to look over it. And if somebody in the grand jury says, no, this looks like a homicide, we'll cover that over and fix that up. It's deep down in the center of the consciousness, in the bottom of our souls. And the reason black men are able to kill each other is because we've inherited the same attitude. The black cops who came in to the police force early on had to be more severe and brutal to black criminals than the white partners, because they had to do that to be accepted as a partner. And so you had many police officers, black police officers, who were extremely brutal to criminals. I mean, knocking them over their head, beating them up, there was no such thing as a civil liberties union or committees judging police officers and their actions. And not in those days. The criminal was a criminal. He deserved what he got. And so black cops and white cops together brutalized anybody who fell in their hands, who's not supposed to be in those hands, and got it, caught it, but good.